most of us, probably all of us, a little guilty of overindulging over December. With all the excitement of seeing family and friends, diet plans are very quickly derailed, but apparently you don't have to panic just yet. We've got you covered. Dietitian and expert on all things dietary, Louise Carter, is with us here this morning on the show to chat about getting back on track after the festive season. Morning to you, Louise. Always a pleasure speaking to you. Yes, it's festive season binging. Yes, we've still got New Year's on the way, but 2020 hasn't been kind to many of us because you weren't allowed to exercise for much of the year. There were no sporting events taking place as well. And many of us were just sitting at home, working from home. So it's not just festive season, is it? It's been a tough year for the waistline, hasn't it?
Hi, Gareth. Yes, it's been very tough for a lot of people. Not being able to exercise, not being able to get outside. And I think, we use that as an excuse, but there's that saying that you can't outrun a bad diet. So unfortunately, we can't use the exercise as an excuse, and we need to really just go back to basics and make sure that we getting it right in the kitchen before we blame the outside.
But we are allowed a little bit of indulgence over the festive season, isn't it? It's not about going all in and just being completely irresponsible with food, but there is a bit of leeway, have a bit of fun. But the reason you and I are talking this morning is you've got to try and get us back on track. I mean, we can come out of this, can't we? There's hope and light at the end of the tunnel, surely.
Yes, definitely. And, the festive season, the holiday season is all about that, relaxing and spending time with your friends and your family. But like you say, we can't just let it go. We have to come back to the tracks at some stage. So the best thing to do is to start slowly. What we find is a lot of people, it's usually on the 1st of January, so there's a few more days. But a lot of people will say, oh my gosh, right now I have to get on. And they almost do themselves a disservice by jumping head first and doing things too drastically. So it's a lot easier if you take smaller steps and change smaller things as we're going along, rather than just cutting your portions in half and going on a very strict diet, if you want to call it that. So yeah, finding someone who will do it with you is probably also a good idea, but definitely head in slowly and make some smaller changes every day, because it is those smaller changes that make the biggest difference at the end of the day to all of us.
It really does, and I'm so glad you mentioned about people not jumping in too quickly, because come the 1st of January, you're right, it's those New Year's resolutions as of the 1st of January, or they'll pick a date, the 5th of January, whenever they're back from holiday. They're going to start exercising. They're immediately going to start running half marathons 7 days a week, because that's what we all do. Yeah. And we're going to start eating like birds. And then 3 weeks later, we've all got bronchitis and the flu, and we can't understand why we're suddenly so sick. So give us a daily piece of advice. If we're talking 3 meals a day, or perhaps you follow the 5 smaller portions a day, what does my day look like? Which one am I trying to cut back on? Just give me a bit of free practical advice, if you will.
I think generally, it's quite hard to say if we should be eating 3 meals a day or 5. Because either some people like to snack and some people just don't. So if you are someone who snacks and you need to have your breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, and dinner, then that's fine. So generally what we need to do is decrease our portion sizes, but slowly. So if your goal is to eat maybe half of what you're eating now, that's drastic, but let's go with that, then start with as you're dishing up, take 1 spoon of whatever it might be off the plate. So slowly, we start to change the portion sizes. And we do this because if you do cut it in half immediately, you're going to be starving. And then there goes your plan immediately. So number 1 would be portion control. Number 2 would probably be water intake. So water is a natural appetite suppressant. We know that. So it does help if you are feeling a little bit pickish, instead of reaching for that bag of chips or whatever it is that excites you over the holidays, rather have a glass of water and see if you can delay that onset of eating. Also remember that the thirst reflex is often mistaken for hunger, so making sure that you are drinking enough so that you're not confusing the two. And then the third one would be sugar. Definitely over the holiday season, there's a lot more sugar intake, whether it's coming through things that we're drinking or eating. So I would cut that out 100%. So while we go slowly with portion control, we can definitely cut sugar out 100% from the word go. And then the last thing that I would say is to have realistic goals and maybe find someone who will do it with you, because it is a lot easier to be accountable to somebody else. So if you have a friend, or maybe it's a partner that you live with, or someone who can help you with your journey, and if there's no one in your space, then definitely go and find a dietitian who will help you, because being accountable to someone definitely keeps us a lot stricter on our path. Yeah.
Oh, we've just helped viewers. We don't have to go looking for a dietitian. We just found an expert. There's Louise Carter. She just joined us here on eNCA. Go look for Louise Carter. She knows what she's talking about. At least you didn't say that we have to stop drinking wine and whiskey because that's got water in it. So Louise Carter, you cannot say stop the whiskey and wine. It's got water in it. I'm hydrating. I really am. Louise, thank you very much. Dietitian joining us here on eNCA, and all the best for next year. Yeah, Louise is right. Give yourself a few days leeway, but get back on track. Maybe the 1st or 2nd of December. It's been a tough year. Give yourself a bit of a reward.